Hey everyone, welcome back to Simply Blessed Crafts. I'm Tiffany and I have another collab for you, and I hope you are excited because this one is a great one. I am going to be participating in the What Would You Make? So I have a question for you. What would you make? Let's get into those DIYs. Alright guys, so this is What Would You Make? And it is hosted by Rustic and Lace DIY Craftaholic, and our guest host is Country Lily DIY Decor. And we're not going to waste much time, we're going to get right into it. DIY number 1. So here I'm going to take this little wooden cutting board. And these little papers here I got from Temu. I could not wait to use these little fairies, so I'm actually gonna do we're gonna start off doing fall. Start transitioning into that. She had little pumpkins on her dress, so I'm just kind of filling in with a little paint with that. But we're kind of going for a little bit of a moody look with this one. The only reason why I'm doing that is because I did want to use these papers, and they're kind of a little moody. But she had some really pretty, like, darker butterfly wings and stuff like that. So it was kind of more into that fall colors with the red and everything around the border and stuff like that. But we are going to tear that down a little bit just because I want this to be a little bit more worn, weathered look. These frames I also got off of Temu. But this one was just way too thick. It was covering up way too much of the the fairy. So we're just gonna cut this down, and it was pretty simple. I just took my X-Acto knife and I'm just basically running it down and just getting it to split on me just a little bit. And then once it was splitting, I kind of grabbed some of my wire cutters, and I'm just basically going to end up breaking it in half. I do that a little bit here. I realize it's easier. I'm trying to grab it in the whole big chunk of it, and then I end up breaking it in a couple of pieces. So that's why I said it's easier if you just kind of break it in like little chunks as I'm doing this. It does kind of break and kind of split in a couple of places, but you won't even notice that after we get it glued down and everything. It actually kind of adds to the character of the piece, because I kind of do want this to be a little bit more rustic farmhouse as well. So we're kind of going for a moody but yet farmhouse charm, because I kind of like that style anyway. And the only kind of moody we're kind of going with this is we're just kind of going to go with a little bit more darker colors. So, we're going to go with their traditional colors, but they're just going to be a little bit more darker. So like maroon instead of like more burgundy. Like hunter burnt orange instead of like bright orange, that kind of thing. So it's going to be just a little bit more dirtied, stuff like that. So this frame here I decided I was going to do in like a copper color. I kind of thought it would be pretty, because we're going to kind of go with those brown tones and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit, and it's going to kind of look like it kind of brings out the wood color in this, but it gives it more of a shine. It really turns out pretty once it's done. And it's going to bring out her browns and stuff and her details in the picture. So once we're all done with that, we're just gonna glue that right down to her. And then I am gonna go over top of it and just kind of give it just a couple of little swipes of this Golden Rule by DIY. And it's just to kind of bring out a couple of those little details we got going around here. It ain't gonna be much. I had some of these old buttons in my stash, and I don't know, it just kind of spoke to me to put 3 of them down here. These I've had in my stash for quite a while. They came from a project that I actually took apart. It was a flower that I had that I kind of scrapped into pieces, and they were just kind of sitting there. I didn't ever know what I was going to use them for, and for some reason I saw them and I'm just like, you know, I think this is the project. So here I'm just kind of wrapping them around each other just to kind of get them to stick together. I do grab some of my Tight Bond glue, quick and thick Tight Bond glue, to kind of make it to, because this is going to be wire, so I do want it to stick. I do use some hot glue as well to contribute into the immediate hold, because otherwise it just wasn't going to stay there. I was trying to make it stay, but it was moving on me, so that's why I went with that route, because I didn't want it to jiggle around when I wanted to still work. So I am going in for that immediate hold here, and that shouldn't go anywhere after it dries. And then I'm going to take some of these picks that I got from Dollar Tree. I've had these in my stash for so long. I don't think I've ever used them, you guys, but these are going to bring out some more of those, like, kind of moody tones that we have in the picture and stuff. A lot of the reds kind of got covered up by the frame, but they're still going to kind of give it a little bit more dimension. I do 2 on each side. Just kind of layer them over top of it. I didn't want to cover up any of those crystals that we have up there. And then I grabbed one of these velvet pumpkins that I've had in my stash as well from last year. And I'm just kind of grabbing some, it's kind of like gel stain, and I'm just kind of brushing it on, and just to kind of, like I said, dirty it up a little bit. I liked the color of the pumpkin, but we just wanted to give it a little bit more of a burnt orange kind of look. We wanted to get it a little dirty. And we're just going to glue that right up to the top there. And then I do add some string to the top of that. And that is it, guys. DIY number 2. So here I have this wood round. I got this from actually a thrift store, to be honest with you. And I think I paid for like $2 for it. It's pretty substantial. I grabbed this picture as well. This also came from Temu. This one actually has, I swear they look like pumpkins to me. But they're small, so I don't know if they're just the little pumpkins or if they're peaches or whatever they are, but it has some of those like burnt orange looking items in it that we were using basically like we did in the last picture. So we are going to just Mod Podge this picture right down onto this little, I don't know, stump, I guess. This was really soaking up the Mod Podge, so I really had to douse this one down. This wood was very dry, and it wasn't smooth in any way, so it was getting really down into the nooks and crannies. So I had to put a good dose of Mod Podge on this one, which did lead into a few wrinkles, but we do iron this on, and even the iron didn't really get it out, but like again, we're going for a little bit more of that old rustic farmhouse type look. It kind of goes for more of the ambiance look, so we wanted in the first place. I'm just drying up my Mod Podge here, and then I'm going to go over top of it to make sure it's all sealed in. This Mod Podge is also around the edges, is soaking into the wood too, as you can see, and it's kind of staining around there. I didn't really like the way that looked either, so I go in here in a minute pretty heavy-handed as well with some gel stain, and we're going to really dirty up that wood. We're gonna make it look very dirty, very muddy looking, I guess. So I'm using the gel stain in walnut by Americana, and like I said, I'm gonna go all along the edges, but I go in pretty heavy, and like I said, I'm going in because the wood is so rough that it's literally rough and dry. It's just soaking into it as soon as I put it down. So it's really hard to just rub on there. But I ended up grabbing a baby wipe and kind of just smoothing it around to make it a little bit more. But around that picture got really, really dark. But I wasn't mad about it. I actually kind of liked the way it looked. So I do dry brush over the picture to kind of give it a little bit more of that darker aesthetic. I'm going to grab some of these twigs from my backyard, and since he's in kind of a bed of sticks, we're going to kind of make it more of a 3D effect down here. Kind of more like a little nest. And we're just kind of gonna fill in, make it look a little bit more eye appealing, I guess. I also wanted to make sure this stood up, so I am going to, I mean, it's pretty thick wood, so it does stand up on its own, but when you're putting stuff like this on the bottom, make sure that, you know, it's level still to where it's not going to affect anything. And these were leaning over the edges, so I wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to affect anything, so. We're going to take a little plastic pumpkin this time, and I started off with just some Harvest Orange by Apple Barrel, but it was not doing it for me. This is my first project that I did, by the way. It kind of gets, I didn't put it in line the same way, but I put in a little bit of Harvest Orange, and I put way too much Mod-Podge in there. And then I go in with a little Coffee Bean by Apple Barrel, and we're just gonna mix up our own little paint that we can do. I'm kind of just playing around with it at this point, but once we put that color on the pumpkin, and I painted it twice, I let that one dry and then went over it again. That was kind of more of the color of the pumpkins that were in the picture. So I liked that a lot better. And we're just going to glue that right down. I wanted it to match what he has in the picture. So this was getting a little bit more close to what we had. So the leaf and the raffia here I had sitting on my desk from a previous project that I ripped off of it, and we're just going to use that stuff now. I do go over the raffia here with my gel stain. We want to dirty that up a little bit. Look like it was drug from a cornfield or something that he's going to use in his little nest here. And we're going to glue that leaf down. I like the color of the leaf. It's kind of more of that maroon color that we like. And then we're just going to glue that raffia right down, and that's pretty much it, guys. Oh, and my camera ended up shutting off, but yeah. DIY number 3. So this one, you guys, I got this from a garage sale. I paid like $5 for it. It's very well made. I originally had the idea of doing something like this for Christmas, but I'm going to shout out my cousin here. So my cousin had the idea to decorate it for fall. I'm like, okay, I could do that. So we're going to decorate it for fall. I have some of these little rocks from Dollar Tree in my stash, and I just thought, well, why not do this with the roof here? I didn't like the way it looked, so we're gonna give it more of a rock texture and have him have a stone fireplace. Anyway, I'm gonna take some more of these branches that I had out in my yard, and I'm gonna kind of make our own little tree here. I got this one branch that was broke off, and we're gonna glue another branch onto it. And then I'm gonna glue this branch right back onto the back of the cabin here. And we're gonna make our own tree for the fall season. Right now I'm just gluing down leaves and stuff to the branches, and then I start gluing them down to the top of the cabin. This was actually very hard to trim. Oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot talk. I am really tired. I'm gonna glue more to the branch, I guess, but I'm just gluing them down to wherever I thought, looked good. I do add in a couple of those orange ones to make it kind of look like if there was a maple tree around or something, that there's leaves that would have blown from a distance and would have landed on top of the roof or something. My camera ended up kaput skis on me again, and I ended up losing that footage, but I ended up just making another branch and putting it in front. And then I decided in the front here we're gonna glue a little footpath from the door with some more of these stones, and then I was going to make a little fireplace. That again was my cousin's idea, to do the fireplace, the little roaring fire in it. So I had these little stones, might as well. So here I'm just gluing them down. Once everything's glued down, I'm gonna grab some more of these twigs and I'm going to make a little fire. Now to do that, I have some of these little leaves that are the orange and white, or orange and white, orange and yellow, and I'm just kind of scrunching them up and then gluing them down to some of the logs, but I'm gluing them in all different directions and off kilter and everything like that to kind of make them look like flames. I do that through several times here and gluing them to all of my logs, and I'm gonna kind of glue them down. Like I said, this was kind of hard to film, just for simple fact is the branches were kind of getting in the way. I needed to figure out a better way to where I could see what I'm filming and be able to show you what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm gonna take some of this moss here that I got from Walmart, and I'm just filling in around at the front, and I do both sides of it. I don't do the back because not a whole lot of people are going to see the back, but I do just around the gaping areas where the grass and everything would fill in and stuff. So and then we do add a little pumpkin, and I do the same thing that I did on the previous project and used our little mixed up paint and just painted that little pumpkin. And then just glued him right down to the front of the cabin. And there you guys have it. And I added a little star to the top of the cabin, but you can't really see that in that picture, so. But you'll be able to see that in the final reveal. And here's the final reveal, you guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I really enjoyed creating it. I had fun. I kind of liked exploring this kind of stuff, and I really liked using my new stuff. I think that's the reason why I did this, is I was excited. I was excited to use the little fairies. I think she is just the cutest little thing ever. But let me know down below what you guys like. I know this isn't always everybody's aesthetic. Give me a thumbs up down there if you liked it. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought. Definitely go check everybody out over the playlist. Make sure you give them some love. And make sure you go check out the hosts over at Rustic and Lace and DIY Craftaholic. And make sure you go check out our guest hosts, Country Lily. Make sure you go give her some love. And I will have another collab coming up on the 1st of the month. So make sure you guys stick around. Hit that notification bell if you're not notified yet, so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful week coming up here. Can't believe July is almost over already. And fall crafting is starting. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. God bless, and I hope you guys all, like I said, have a wonderful week. Bye.